Ever built an IoT project only to be left guessing whether you should use I2C, SPI, or UART? Pick the wrong protocol, and your build suffers from brutal speed bottlenecks, mysterious signal drops, or unmanageable electrical noise in industrial setups. In this episode of IoT Journal, we're laying out the ultimate blueprint of hardware communication, from why parallel buses died to how modern protocols like PCIe and USB 4 pull off multi-gigabit magic. Let's dive in. Think of any modern electronic system as a high-density city. The system core needs dedicated roadways to talk to peripherals, clock lines to keep the beat, transmit lines to speak, and receive lines to listen. But how do billions of components communicate smoothly without running into pure chaos? In the past, engineers believed more wires meant more speed, giving birth to wide 32-bit parallel buses. But as clock speeds pushed into gigahertz frequencies, a major physical bottleneck appeared: trace skew. Microscopic length differences in PCB traces cause bits to arrive out of sync, corrupting the data packet. The fix? Serialization. Converting parallel data into ultra-fast sequential bit streams over minimal wires. This eliminated skew, saved massive board real estate, and slashed manufacturing costs. The simplest serial protocol is UART. Think of UART as two people talking over walkie-talkies without a shared clock wire to keep them in sync. Because it's asynchronous, both devices must pre-agree on a strict communication speed, the baud rate, to avoid phase drift. Data is transmitted in neat frames: a start bit, 8 payload bits, an optional parity bit for error checking, and a stop bit. Simple, reliable, and essential for point-to-point debugging. What if you need to connect 10 different sensors to a single microcontroller using only 2 wires? Enter I2C. I2C operates like a group chat. A master controller shares the SDA, data, and SCL, clock lines with multiple peripherals. The master broadcasts a unique 7-bit device address, and only the target device pulls the line low on the 9th clock cycle to send an acknowledge, ACK. Its open drain setup with pull-up resistors prevents short circuits, making it the king of crowded circuit boards. When you need raw speed, like driving a high-resolution display or reading an SD card, I2C becomes a bottleneck. That's where SPI shines. SPI acts like a symphony orchestra, where the master controller is the conductor setting a rigid tempo via the SCK line. With dedicated MOSI and MISO lines, data flows in both directions simultaneously, full-duplex, with zero address overhead. It delivers maximum speed, but comes at a physical cost. Here lies the classic hardware trade-off. With I2C, adding a 4th, 10th, or 50th sensor requires 0 extra pins on your microcontroller. With SPI, every new peripheral requires a dedicated chip select CS line, $3 plus N dollars wires. High-speed performance with SPI comes directly at the expense of PCB layout complexity and pin availability. To quickly recap our core onboard protocols: UART, 2 wires, asynchronous, full-duplex point-to-point, best for GPS modules, Bluetooth, and serial debugging. I2C, 2 wires, synchronous, half-duplex, addressable, best for daisy-chaining multiple low-speed sensors. SPI, 4 wires plus 1 per peripheral, synchronous, full-duplex, best for SD cards, displays, and high-speed ADCs. Step up the circuit board into a noisy factory floor, and standard logic signals get corrupted instantly. RS485 solves this using differential signaling. Instead of referencing a single wire to ground, it transmits data over a twisted pair, line A and line B, with inverted voltage levels. Electromagnetic noise affects both wires equally, so when the receiver calculates the differential voltage, VA minus VB, the noise is completely cancelled out, allowing error-free data transmission up to 1,200 meters. In modern vehicles, dozens of electronic control units must share a single bus. If the brakes and the air conditioner send a message at the exact same millisecond, how does the system avoid collisions? CAN bus uses non-destructive bitwise arbitration. Messages carry a numerical ID. A dominant bit, logic 0, overrides a recessive bit, logic 1. The message with the lower ID, like critical braking data, wins the bus instantly without corrupting the signal. Inside PC's legacy PCI was a shared bus where components queued up like traffic at a bottleneck. PCIe replaced this with a switched point-to-point architecture. Devices get dedicated bidirectional lanes X1, X4, X8, X16 directly to the root complex. A GPU and an NVMe SSD operate independently at full throttle, delivering combined transfer rates exceeding 128 gigabytes per second in Gen 5. Modern Type-C connectors with USB 4 aren't just single-purpose data cables, they are dynamic tunneling fabrics. USB 4 packetizes and multiplexes native USB 3, DisplayPort video, and PCIe traffic through a single physical cable. A connection manager dynamically reallocates bandwidth on the fly, seamlessly adjusting between a 4K display and an external NVMe drive. This brings us to the iron triangle of hardware communication. You can transmit data blisteringly fast or across long physical distances, but rarely both without high infrastructure costs. SPI and PCIe dominate the centimeter scale on the board. USB 4 handles short-range peripherals, while RS485 and CAN bus govern long-distance field buses. Choosing the right communication protocol comes down to balancing speed, distance, pin availability, and noise immunity. If you found this breakdown valuable for your hardware projects, hit that like button, subscribe to IoT Journal, and drop your questions or build setups in the comments below. See you in the next build.